The Desire Street Vampire continues, Part 2. The Confrontation. Daddyo was shocked to find no evidence of the man with the fangs he had shot only a few hours earlier. He and Detective LaFitte looked all around, and then Daddyo pointed to dried bloodstain on the wall in the dirty alley. LaFitte then smugly asked, "Where's your dead cracker, Daddyo?" "I told you you won't find anything here." "Not right now." I do know that if you saw it, and I believe you did, we need to take a trip to the village and see a witch I know, Miss Wanda. Miss Wanda can help us find this thing and how to get rid of it. Daddyo nodded and seemed genuinely disturbed since there was no evidence of the man he had shot several times with the Colt Peacemaker. Soon the odd pair were in the row house on a hot afternoon, rowing across a river to the village deep in one of the Louisiana swamps. They made their way to the cottage occupied by Wanda Pierre, known all around the bayou as Miss Wanda the Witch Woman. The lesser vampires followed Detective LaFitte and Daddyo as they closed in on the vampires, Gabriel tracking him to the Moonlight Cafe. But before they could enter the place, the lesser vampires stood in the doorway, blocking their entrance. Daddyo reached for the gun, but LaFitte blocked him by pulling his guns and whispered, "I got something better. Hold on there, Daddyo." Reaching to the pocket of his gray tweed blazer, the detective retrieved a handful of rock salt, tossing it at the lesser vampires and said aloud, "The strength I miss, I ask you now, master of all, enhance my power, protect me now." LaFitte stood confidently in his spot as he and Daddyo both watched the lesser vampire dissolve into a pile of nasty red goo, then a dry red dust that blew away with a sudden wind that came seemingly from nowhere. The vampire Gabriel emerged fierce and frightening from the cafe. Daddyo stood in front of the Moonlight Cafe and faced the east and drew a large circle on the ground. He moved to each quarter of the circle, then removing a large wooden stake from inside his jacket, he turned to the west and said, "I call on you who guard the watchtowers of the west, the north, the east, the south, to guide me through the darkest and ensure my safety." The detective also then stood in the center of the circle as the vampire approached he and Daddyo. Next, LaFitte performed a Kabbalistic cross by touching his forehead with the wooden stake, then his right shoulder, then his left shoulder, and moved to the center of the circle. He tapped the wooden stake on the ground just as the vampire tried to breach the circle. He chanted, "In the shadows evil hide, ready to draw me from love's side. But with your help I shall be strong, banish all that do me wrong, send them away, send them astray, never again to pass my way, so mote it be." LaFitte shoved the stake into the ethereal, translucent vampire that suddenly became a solid entity. He could feel the hot, putrid breath of the foul creature breathing on his face. Suddenly he felt the head of the foul thing bounce off his head. In one unexpected moment, Daddyo had decapitated the creature with a machete that LaFitte had no idea that Daddyo even had, and where he had even concealed the weapon. Daddyo watched in awe as the headless creature fell to the ground. First the head, then the body transformed into a puddle of red goo, then red dust. And just as the lesser vampires, The dust was carried away by a gust of an unexpected wind. Daddyo then spoke. I know that you were way over the top with the spells and the ritual things, LaFitte, but I figured that chopping off the head of this thing would make that thing stay killed. Now that undead thing is dead, right? Right, LaFitte? It is dead, right? End of part 2.